Hey, I'd like to welcome and thank everyone for tuning in and listening to the Bank Radio Show. I'm Mr. Enigma of the Mind of Enigma Show. I'm here today with the owner, founder, Mr. Andreas Cook of the Bank Radio Show.
What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
Thank you for having me, man. It's a real big honor.
You know, I like your work ethic that you've been putting in. I like your energy.
Thank
you. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and do this special way.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I'm so nervous and excited at the same time. My fiance was like, don't be saying that. I'm like, it is what it is. Now, what we're here to talk about today is more about your journey, as in what it took for you to get here, the struggles, all that, and any other business, also as well as business ventures that you oversee, and other things you have your hand into. I see you're a man of many traits, and you're like a Renaissance man. So if you got two more businesses I don't know about, then you just put it all here. You just tell me that. But before we get into all that, so for those who don't know you, just who is Mr. Andreas Cook?
Well, foremost and firstmost, I am a father, a husband. I share those roles, those dualities. I'm a businessman, like you said, entrepreneur. Been full time for like going on 5 years now. Part time or all together has been about 8 to 9. But I've always had an entrepreneur spirit. I'm compassionate. I'm funny and witty at times. Sometimes I can be a prick, which is fine, because we all have those tendencies. But I'm a person where I have certain things I want to accomplish, a certain lifestyle that I want to live, but I also have a certain vision for not only myself, but the community as a whole.
Okay. Now, last month, at the end of last month of November, was a very big month for you. I see you celebrated two things. One of those things were you posted on Facebook, it's been 5 years since you stepped off the plantation, and you've been a full-time entrepreneur. You care to elaborate on that post?
Yeah, what that post was is that, like I said, it was actually it could have been looked upon last month, but it was actually December. I think it was December 3rd. I used to work in Norfolk Southern, and I did that for like 6.5 years. I graduated Fort Valley in 2006. When I graduated, I had a couple of jobs here and there, but nothing really in marketing or anything related to marketing. My wife actually applied for me to work at Norfolk Southern. It was a different department. I drove to Atlanta, had a car accident. It was just a fender bender. It wasn't nothing major. But I got there late, and they didn't let me in the interview process. So I was like, whatever, I don't care. So I drove back or whatever to Macon, was going to do some other things. She then told me, no, it'll be a good opportunity for you to make some money and stuff like that. And I wanted to increase my revenue, my income. So I applied for a crew management center position, which is still in Atlanta. And I made that interview and made it all the way through the hiring process. I was actually the only person in that entire group that got hired. I was put with other people.
How many?
It was over 200-something people that applied. I was the only one, and I told them, I was like, look, I'm in Macon right now. Now I do have plans to move closer or whatever, but I didn't think, they was gonna hire me or whatever, but they was like, yeah, come on. And they put me with another hiring class. So they had 2 different sessions of hiring folks. I got put with the other ones. So I think it was like 5 of us all together, whatever. But anyway, on that journey of working that particular job, it was great money, but I saw where people were content at where they were, because it was good money. I'm like at $70,000 a year plus benefits. And benefits, at first, like insurance wasn't, it was nothing. And then it grew to like, I think at the height, it was like around $235 for a family plan a month. It still had like great coverage. So it was a thought to really walk away from it. But while I was working there, I saw people complacent, and I've never been a person. I never like complacency. I don't. I'm always trying for new things. Like I have homeboys now that when I call them, it'd be like every couple months or whatever, we're touching bases. I'm always doing. They be like, you always got something new you doing, and that's what they know me for. I actually got one that I went to school with at Fort Valley. He sent me a text today because there's another business that I'm affiliated with. He tried out some of the product. He bought some of he bought some of the products. So I'm gonna send it to him. But in the message, it's like, man, I always love the fact that you're doing big things, being an entrepreneur, and you're empowering people and educating them at the same time. I was like, I really appreciate that. But I used to tell people at Norfolk Southern, I was like, look, y'all too content, man. If y'all had, like, cause I would talk to people and like ask them, what are your dreams? What did you want to do? This isn't the job. This is a cool job. Don't get me wrong, and you make good money, but this isn't what you really want to do. So why aren't you following your dreams? And they just basically got content with the money. And I was like, I ain't gonna do that. So I purposely started becoming like a sucky employee. My last year, I think, because it was a union job. So once you were in the union, you really couldn't get fired. What they would have was different disciplinaries. So they would like put you out what they call on the street. You wouldn't get no pay or whatever, but you still got to go back to work. You know what I'm saying? It was like a temporary. It's sort of like a suspension type thing.
Yeah.
But with job security, they couldn't just put your job up for bid or whatever, and other people get it. So my last year, hell, I was on the street at least 3-4 times that year, 30 days at a time, and I didn't care. I loved it. I was out making other moves, and I would purposely like call in sick to work or whatever and not show up, things like that, because I was tired of it, and my wife knew it. And I just decided I had enough money in my 401k saved up to where it paid my bills for like 6 to 7 months after I left. So I had a plan. It's not like I just arbitrarily jump from one thing to the next or whatever. There's always a reason, or there's something behind the scenes that most people don't know or whatever when people make decisions like that. But yeah, I told everybody, like, man, I'm quitting. And I was like, I ain't even gonna call in to work or whatever. I'm gonna just let them call me and just hang up on them. But I had people calling me and emailing me, don't quit, don't do it. But I'm like, y'all, no, I gotta go chase my dreams, man. I want to do more than just work for another company and make them money. I know that, to me, I've always been that person. I've always been the top salesman or getting many promotions or whatever the case may be. Every single job I've had, they pretty much either I've doubled my income or people saw the potential where they wanted me to be manager and stuff like that, even when I was in high school. So I always had that work ethic about me. But I always knew, though, that I could do better for myself. And that when you look at statistically, I'm like, you're worth 10 times more than the average working person. Now, not to down anybody who works a 9 to 5. We all got our different things to do, but that's not me. I don't fit well in that structure. So that's what that post was all about. I was happy, and also showing people you can do the same thing that I do. What I do is not special. Everybody can do it. You just got to be consistent. Now you do have to develop a skill set. You can't just be like, not have no type of skills or tenacity and willpower and be able to see opportunity where there is opportunity. But beyond that, though, anybody can do it who wants to do it.
I see you have multiple businesses. How many exactly you have, and can you briefly talk about what they are?
I don't know if I can do briefly, but
I mean, obviously we have this.
Yeah.
In our radio.
Currently, on paper, I believe I have 5 businesses that I'm affiliated with in some capacity. 2 record labels, a video production company, a counseling business, the building that we're in right now, and then also recently the cook shop, which is the purveyor of hemp. So hey.
Nah, I mean, I was like, that's a business I did not know about.
Yeah, we just recently I did the paperwork for file for it for the Secretary of State back in April, but we just recently started really promoting it and branding it. One, because me and my wife, we believe in the power of hemp and CBD-based products. Regardless of how the law looks at it, I don't think it's right. I think marijuana and hemp, all that has been getting a bad name. And I'm going to do everything in my power to shed light on the hundreds and hundreds of benefits that it does for individuals. Um, and it's not like any of these pharmaceuticals or whatever. But beyond that, though, I have at least, I think, 3 or 4 other brands. Like the Bank That Radio Show is a brand in itself. Now, I can sell it or whatever, but it's not attached to anything else. Then I have Making Bib FM, which is a digital radio station that independent artists, businesses, events, whatever, they call and get their, artists can get their music played on it, and any businesses can advertise on it. Just started that. Was it back in June? We're still actually under a beta testing right now, but it's gotten over 500 subscribers. People listen to it from all over the world. Like, I think the last time I looked at it, it was about 11, 12 countries listen to it. Just my station alone, which is Making Bib FM, that's on the Indie Plug Media app, it got listened to, I think October is around 463 listeners. And then November, it went down a little bit because I didn't promote it as much. It was around 300 something, whatever. But it's still steadily growing. People still sharing the app. Excuse me, I have 5 DJs who have mixes on it. DJ Dog Style, DJ Soul, DJ Cam, DJ C Rich, and DJ Kryptonite. I think I just named 5, yeah. I got another one that's I got to talk to. There's another one out in Perry. 3 of them are here. Like DJ Kryptonite, he's based out of Sandelsville. DJ Cam, she's Statesboro, actually getting her degree and stuff and graduating. And DJ Soul, who's out of Perry. Dog Style is out west, and C Rich, he's from my hometown, Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh.
Let's see, and then also I have Baked Out News Network. The Baked Out News Network was a project that me and Sims, who was my business partner for Icon Media, came up with, in which Icon Media, if nobody really understands, he does like 90-something% of all my video footage and editing. And I like to give Sims his credit. He is a producer. I know people with cameras and stuff like that, most people try to label them as videographers. He's way more than that. He is a producer. So if anybody out there have ideas, come with a budget, because this stuff ain't free. And we can sit down and really push out a project. And we've done other people's projects as well. But the Baked Out Radio Show was an idea that we came up with where I wanted more of a structured type thing, because I love the Baked Out Radio Show. And I like how, we're fluid and we can just go and I can interview all sorts of guests or whatever. The Banked Out News Network is more of a structured type series. So we did 8 episodes for that where it went around and highlighted black businesses and did Artist of the Week, Artist Song of the Week, and business tips, which I think a lot of people don't actually get into, which they should, as far as run into a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs, and the way that they look at things isn't quite the way they should look at it. They should look at it with a different set of eyes. But see, I'm trying to think beyond that. Can't think of any other brand. No, we do have some different stuff, and I'm always being pulled into other people's stuff too. So like I might do co-partnerships where I'll help people promote certain events, or people will pay me to do their advertising and marketing or whatever. So it's always that. But yeah, it's a lot.
Oh man. So how is the lifestyle of someone running multiple businesses?
It's not all glitz and glamour like people think it is. Like this week alone, because I have with my counselor business, the Southern Center for Choice Theory. Just because I'm not there doesn't mean I'm not doing stuff with it. I have to answer emails and stuff from different providers and people who refer client bases to us. We have a huge contract with the state of Georgia as far as DFACs, so we do a lot of services for them. I also have to do billing and make sure things operational goes smoothly. But yeah, sometimes I do have a lot of flexibility with my time. That's like one of the best parts I love about it. So when my kids have different things that they do, I can go and do it. Like I coached basketball for like 3 years straight. I didn't do it this year because none of the kids, their grades sucked, so we didn't have a squad. So
Just
I couldn't. They did. They sucked. The kids'
you can't
grades
just
sucked.
single your kids out like
No,
that.
no, not my kids.
Oh, okay. The kids.
The
Okay.
kids.
I was like, whoa, hold on, man.
The
You just
kids.
singling kids
So,
out.
no, not my kids. My kids know better.
Oh,
I,
God.
I don't play that. I'm really for education.
All right.
But I'm for education with a purpose and experience as well, all commingled together. But yeah, none of the kids on the roster, the teams, because I was going to coach the 7th or 8th grade this year, because I did 4th, 5th, and 6th last year. So I just go back and forth, depending on whatever the athletic director at the time, whoever it is, because I'm a volunteer, so it's not like I'm trying to run the show. But they know I've been the most consistent person there doing stuff. I even helped out with the schedule a couple times, as far as getting teams to play us and us playing them, and vice versa, or whatever, and expanding the opportunity for the kids to get that experience. But yeah, so anytime my kids got stuff, I'm like, all my kids, year round, we're doing stuff. I got kids that are in choir, I got kids that do archery, soccer, basketball, football, any other thing that goes on. They help me with different events, and I show them different stuff within various organizations or businesses that I have that allows them to get that experience. But yeah, that lifestyle, it can be rough sometimes because, like, the first quarter, I'm dealing with taxes and stuff like that, business license renewals, making sure, everything is just running smoothly for the new year, meetings, planning, all that stuff. So it's not like I just have all my free time and just do whatever the hell I want to. My business actually dictate what I have to do. But I am, I can provide for my kids, I help my wife with bills and stuff like that. So, it just is, you make it what it is. I don't have to adhere to that structure of somebody else's time. So that's pretty much my lifestyle. I'm like, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it.
Do you even get any sleep? That's the question.
On average, depends on what the project is and stuff like that. Sometimes I might get 4 hours of sleep. Sometimes I might get, 7. I try not to sleep too much, but, there's only so many days you can stay up, or you can go like hard or whatever without being non-productive. Because it doesn't help. It doesn't. If I don't take care of myself, then it doesn't help anything else that I'm doing.
That's true.
And because people see that I'm efficient in what I do, that's like one of the things people always compliment me on. It's like, you're efficient at doing this and doing that or whatever. So, I'm able to just jump and do bam, 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 knock it out. Where somebody else, it might take them, a lot more time to do what I do. But yeah, you have to sleep. You have to take care of yourself first. And I had to learn that the hard way.
That's true. I see you say you teach counseling sessions. You have counseling sessions.
I don't teach. I'm not a therapist.
Okay.
I just run the private business of counseling, of mental health.
Okay. Don't worry about that.
No. I just want people to understand, because people do call me, and they're like, well, I got these. Look, I can only talk to you as an individual. I can only give you my common sense, what I think is my common sense. I cannot professionally tell you what you need to do to, get over whatever event in your life. Now, I do have people on payroll who can do that. So, and I am privy to some of the tools and instruments that they've learned to use to help, but I am not a therapist. Now, I can point you in a direction, though.
Care to give any advice for someone who's self-employed? Like any tips on any tips or any advice on people about marketing the brand?
If you're currently self-employed, if you're trying to get to the full-time status, you have to promote. You have to be willing to spend that money. Without spending that money, you're just basically doing something and it just looks like a hobby. Regardless of what you have to do to sacrifice. Like I sacrifice a lot of my own personal money to get a lot of my stuff going. And I do it now. I rarely ever look for people to invest in something. And I don't get into opportunities without bringing something to the table. Like when I do business deals with people and partnerships, we're both bringing something to the table. Whether it be 2 of us, 3 of us, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I see a lot of people who do not, they think just like Facebook and social media is the only way to market and promote, but it's not. You got networking events you could do. You could always be doing something every day to get the word out about your business for the best dollar possible. But you have to give up that money and push it. That's where they go wrong. You get you do a business plan, you do your research, but you don't include a marketing budget. Why not? To me, that baffles. I don't understand that because you're throwing away all that effort that you just put into something without really having a marketing campaign behind you. You're not going to go anywhere. You're really not. Not to the point of where you want it to get. It's okay to build a business off of referrals, but guess how long you're going to take to do that? A long time. Exactly. And are you willing to be patient enough to wait 5, 6, 7, 10 years to finally get the return on all these referrals, finally sending you people to where it builds up? Or do you want to jump out there and build something within 2, 3 years and really go from 50,000 to 150?
It's all about sacrifices, like you said.
You do. You have to sacrifice.
How much should a person save up to bring to the table to be able to market their business?
Depends on what the business is, the industry. That's not one solid number.
It's not.
And different markets react different. Pushing something in Columbus is different than pushing something in Macon. Pushing something in Macon is different than pushing something in Atlanta. So it depends on your market. It depends on your industry. You have some businesses where people just see it, right? But people know I do consulting and stuff, right? If I really wanted to push that, then I know I would, and I wanted X amount of clients every week. Excuse me. I know I would have to spend X amount of dollars just trying to get the people to inquire about what it is that I do. But I also have to, with music per se. I've been doing music since 2000 as far as a career, something with music since 2005. Yeah, when I opened up my first business, I opened up was BRS Entertainment. It was a music promotions company. That's all I did. Just that aspect of it. The artists at the time I was trying to work with didn't understand that because they were still trying to find themselves. So if I'm trying to go after artists and get them to pay me money for advertising and promotion, if they don't understand the business at all, I have to do two things. I have to educate them to a point to where they see the value in what I bring. And then I got to sell them all my services. That takes a lot of time and effort or whatever. So that would require way more money than, say, if I was selling a product. I don't know. I was trying to be the best cake man there was. All I had to do is go after people who like to eat sweets and who like cakes. They're already, if you sell only food, people are already conditioned as consumers to know that they got to pay you. But if you're trying to sell a service, and especially to an audience that don't like to pay for stuff anyway, that's gonna be hard to sell.
Yeah.
So there's not one cookie cutter way. You just have to do your best research possible, and add 25% to that, and go out there and make it work for I would try to save at least 6 months worth of what you think it's going to take before you start even making $1 back. And that's not $1 for profit. That's $1 just coming back into the business.
Is there ways to run a business nonprofit? Can you explain some of the different ways to make money off of business, money-wise and nonprofit-wise?
Well, you have two businesses that you can run. You can run a for-profit business and you can run a non-profit business. A for-profit business, you can have various structures. You can have a sole proprietorship, which I had for BRS Entertainment, meaning you can spend the money however you want to that you make for the business. So, say you selling shirts in this sole proprietorship. You make that sale or whatever, you can go and pay your personal bills with that. You don't have to put it back into the business as a sole proprietorship. If you have a partnership, you might want to think about spending that money because you got a partner. If you have an LLC, you can't just spend the money personally. Now, your lifestyle revolves around that, and it happens to be a transaction that's benefits you personally, whatever, but it's for business purposes, then yeah. And if you're an INC, don't even think about that because you'll get audited and you can get your license pulled. People don't realize things like that. So yeah, it depends on what you want out of the business, what your goals for it. Nonprofits, excuse me, like Red Cross or Goodwill or whatever. Those businesses make money, but on their income statement, they can only carry over 25% of their operating revenue for the first quarter.
Hmm.
Anything over that is considered a profit or whatever, and therefore you're not a nonprofit. So that's why they be spending a lot of money towards the end of the year. Because if they got a lot of donations and stuff coming in, they have to get rid of that money off the books. Like I said, you can only carry 25% of your operating revenue for the first quarter into the next quarter. You see what I'm saying? For like January or whatever, on the paper. With those, when you do set up like a nonprofit or a INC business, excuse me. Hey Jay, I need my tea. Yeah, hey, I'm telling you, this is informal. With that, I need my tea. One, you got board meetings you have to go to. You have to adhere to. You have bylaws for the company you have to adhere to. You also have it where you have to report to your board, and if he's supposed to be getting my tea. Are you good, man? Hey, I'm telling you, look. I had what I have in here? Oh, I had Jessica. This is just a side note from Cocktails by Jessica. Shout out to Jessica. I was on here, she was giving me her drinks or whatever. I was drinking them. So I was tossing it back for the next what was the pie lady? The woman who made the pies. She's Metro Atlanta. But yeah, you have these structures in these meetings and bylaws and all this stuff you have to adhere to. And then, like, say if someone wants to pull a coup, which is basically you set up a board, right, for your businesses, whether it's an INC or a nonprofit. Once your businesses start flourishing, some people see that as an advantage. If you start taking it in a way that they feel is not fit, they'll vote you out your own business. And then, yeah, exactly, where you left. That's why I don't like starting INCs with people. I can't build something and then people take it over. I would literally get arrested.
Sound like something straight off Empire.
Yeah. It happens like all the time, though. People don't realize this. You have these huge companies that get formed after, X amount of years or whatever, and you have these visionaries. And because they formed it with that particular structure, you have the risk. You run the risk of people throwing you out your own business, and you can get fired from your board as a CEO. So it's not like you're not insoluble. People, if they see you taking it, and what if they don't share your vision? And then some of these people that sit on boards, they just get money hungry and stuff like that. So after a while, they can get rid of you. And once that's it. Once you're voted out, nobody security come and get you, pack you, throw you out. But there'd be your name on the building. So that stuff really does happen. It just doesn't get reported, because they don't sensationalize it like they do other stuff. So yeah, that's why I don't like forming those businesses. Like with LLC, a limited liability company, you get the same benefits as INC, but you can control it way better. I love the fact that they made that structure. I think it was back in the 90s or whatever, and they came up with it because the business can still live in perpetuity if you have a business owner. So like most of actually all of my businesses have another partner with them, at least one. And if anything happens to me, the other ones could just settle with my wife or whatever, as far as how they're going to do the equity, and then still run the company because there's one surviving member still there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Jay, where's my tea, man? Come on.
Some coffee things had seeped through, so I had to redo it over again.
Oh my goodness! I'm trying to get this good tea, man. I'm telling you what, you getting interviewed next year.
You're fired.
No, I'm gonna fire you, dude. But yeah, that's why I love LLCs. One, they're not as expensive as INCs to form. They are more expensive than a sole proprietorship, but they allow for flexibility with a lot of stuff. You don't have to keep minutes, because INCs and nonprofits, you have to keep minutes every quarter. You literally have to have meetings on minutes or whatever, and it has to be documented by the official secretary and it's notarized and all that stuff. So if they come and audit your business, like I said, they pull those books. You ain't keeping up with that stuff, they can pull your status. Like, people don't realize all this stuff that it really takes to run a business that's not just a sole proprietorship. Because with that, you can pretty much do anything as long as you ain't committing fraud and stuff like that, or committing things that are illegal. Then you pretty much got free reign of stuff. But the bigger you are with your structure, the more stuff you have to adhere to, and policies and all that, and regulations. But yeah, I love LLCs, man. As long as you can you can pass it equity down to your kids and stuff. Whatever the case may be, you can sell stock. Now you can only sell up to like 75. It's either 75 members or 75 shares. I have to get the details on that. But it's somewhere around there. But I'm like, yeah, don't really care for stock right now. I'm not trying to raise it, and I'm not trying to go public. I don't think there will be a business that I will form with the intentions of taking it public. I love everything to be private. I don't want nobody knowing nothing.
Because with the risk of running public, they could then, is that seen like incorporation
and stuff? Yeah.
Okay. I know you say you own record labels too, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many artists do you currently manage in or oversee right now?
Right now I manage myself, but I don't do a lot. Under the name Discover This, I've done a lot that people don't know about, in which I don't really care. I don't care about the notoriety. I like the checks, so that's what I'm into. I'm into the money. But I have an artist by the name of Mike Nitty, but he didn't want to be an artist anymore, which is fine. So I basically shelved this project. I'm going to put some stuff on Reverb Nation when I get around to it and when I remember again. But I manage my wife as well, but she's not really into it as an artist. But like, I help co-manage Build Islam. But he's on graffiti, which I'm a part of. And then like, I've worked with a lot of other artists as well, just as an independent like contractor or consultant or whatever the case may be. But I am looking to add probably 2 more artists at the most to Bank That Music Group in 2019. 4, and I want people to understand, if you get signed in 2019, you're not coming out until 2020. Because that's how long we're gonna work on that project, and I already got things in the works. Like, I have a Christmas album that my wife we're working on right now. I'm producing a Christmas album with her, and I'm putting it out in 2019, Christmas time. I also have a joint project I'm doing with 38 Hot. He's an artist that I've always worked with over the years. I have various songs that we've done, that we put out, gotten great response to and stuff like that. So we're actually gonna do an album. We had works of it doing it years ago, but stuff happens in people's personal lives. But we're finally gonna do it. But I do want to manage, or actually oversee the careers of there's a couple artists I'm eyeing right now that I think I can approach, and I might be able to convince them to sign with Make That Music Group. I don't want to put that out right now, but I'm gonna start approaching them as soon as I get some free time. But like I said, I always work with other people too, so I'm always behind the scenes. People don't know I'm behind the scenes with like a lot of different stuff that's going on.
Now, this question pertains to something you just said in a statement, and something you said earlier. How do you go about picking the artists that you want to manage? Because you said it takes time, and they got to be willing in the project. So how do you really go about picking an artist you want to manage?
I look at, one, as far as management, I've done that. I've done rappers, singers, country singers, etc. Like, I stopped managing for about 3 years, like really managing, because they didn't listen, as was, which is understandable to a certain degree, because people saw interest in what I was doing. Every time I managed somebody, and this is not just a gloat, I've gotten them to a point where a lot of other people start looking at them. So then other people see the potential for the trajectory for them, and they start whispering in their ear or whatever. Then they want to listen to me. So I'm the type of person where I'll tell you up front, look, I already got a plan for you. We're gonna move this plan along. But at any point during this plan, you start to listen to other people, I will let you go. I don't care. Your contract will end, or I'll end it, and you can go do what you want to. Whatever I spent in time, money, resources, I don't care. I'll write it off, or I'll focus on something else.
Mm.
And that's actually how Back Down Music Group started. I was managing different artists at the time, and they weren't listening. So then, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of managing people. I'm tired of giving people information. I'm tired of, people just not listening to the advice that I have to give. Just because, yes, I'm not the biggest name out there. I know that. So what? There's a lot of names out there you don't know, but they know what they're doing. Like, I got results. I can prove them on black and white in paper. Numbers don't lie. I know what to do. I know how to take it to the next level. So I got a lot of artists right now that listen to me, and they call me and they take my advice, and they're going somewhere. I know they are, because they keep listening, and they love it. They love when I just give them the free game, and they're young artists too, which is great. But I don't like to limit that to an artist's potential. I don't mind working. I don't care if you're 50 years old and you want to be a rapper. Man, if you got something that you can spit and people are going to connect to it, and we can make it go somehow and make it work, we'll make it go. I don't put an age, or I don't date people's passion. I really don't. I hate that. You can't tell. And that's the thing that really, I guess, perturbs me, because some people get caught up with what they see on TV and thinking that's the only way. When it's a huge industry out there. Man, you got so many people on TV who not on TV who making money. They making like $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year. Wouldn't you like to do that with something you love? It's possible.
Yeah,
it really is. But to go back to the question, I look at artists first and see how their work ethic is. I like to see what they do for themselves first before I even approach them. And then, can I get along with them? We have to click on some type of level. If I don't feel you, or if I don't feel your personality, or I don't think you're sincere or dedicated what you trying to do, I came up this morning, you want it. Those are red flags to me, where I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna, because I've learned, and I used to try to give people the benefit of doubt, but time to time they show me, who they were. You're not ready for this, so that's what I look for in artists.
Certain artists don't feel like they need the industry because they can go, they get the industry later, they don't need the help, because some people are now putting out, how can I say, mixtapes or albums right now, mixtapes, and it sounds like a whole album, and they're just doing this off the whim of what their passion, they really have that drive. What do you have to say for those artists that, I need these big checks, though? They just getting little checks right now, and, you may not can give it to them personally, give it all out, but they don't want that industry. I don't want to get changed. They feel like the industry changing. Why is that?
That's just their own bad misconception of what the industry is. The industry is a $20-something million business. $20 billion is something dollar business. I think 22 or something like that. It was in the 40s or whatever, but due to various variables, the revenue streams dropped dramatically, but it's actually picking back up. You have to change your perspective. I tell artists all the time, it's like this. You're an artist, but you're doing three things. You're building your brand, you're building your career, and you're building a business all at the same time. Some of the moves that you make are going to coincide with one another. Some of the moves that you make are only going to be for one area. And you got to look at it that way. You're building a business. You're building something that's valuable, that has monetary value attached to it. People are not going to invest big checks if you ain't getting little ones. If you got a $50,000 a year business, right? You got to get to that point before you try to get to 150 or 250. What if I could take you to $250,000 a year? I'm not going to invest in you if you only doing 27 or 28.
That's true.
You know, see what I'm saying? So you got to get to that point first.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You cannot skip the curve of learning or the curve of experience or whatever it's called. You can't skip that step. It's there for a reason. Nobody jumps out the gate and like, ooh, sells 1 million records. Everybody's career is built up to that point to where it all is synergy.
Mm-hmm.
And then it seems like people come out in the woodwork. I'd like to give you an example. Remember Trinidad James?
Yeah.
People thought he bounced out of nowhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know the promoters who pushed him while he was on the college circuit. They've contacted me. I know the companies that he used to help do college campaigns. Like, dude had 4 million YouTube views before he was even signed, but he got to there spending money. Then he was able to get that $2 million deal with Def Jam. Now he's doing more independent stuff because he saw how, you know, the industry can be. And it's not the industry all the way. The industry gets a bad name from like the biggest players at the top and the executives and stuff. But people don't think about the industry as a whole. They think about just the top and the bottom. They don't think about it's a huge middle. There's a lot of people out there doing big things, getting checks like $5, $10, $20, $30,000 checks on various stuff, but you ain't heard about them. I can name 3 artists right now. They got over 10,000 Facebook followers or whatever, and doing something right now. Actually 4, and they nobody heard them.
Say the names.
Oh, you know, there's the J Spools I just added. He's out of Pittsburgh. He got like 16,000 something. There's what's his name? It's all falls down. Cal Davis. He got like 20-something thousand. He got a nice video too for that. There was a what's her name? It's a white girl that I can't remember. She didn't have an Iggy Azalea flow, but it was almost a similar image. And then there's Tamara Bubble, who I recently met back on Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
She has like 20-something thousand likes on Facebook, hundreds of thousands. She got thousands of Instagram and YouTube views and all that stuff. And she be all over the country. She be on panels like at ASCAP and BMI and all these other different songwriting panels and just networking panels, talking and getting paid to come out there to talk. She has her own website where she distributes her music through or whatever, and she's out there grinding. And she's very humble. Like nobody don't know, like as far as like mainstream. People don't know where she is. Like the Lituation concert that happened in Atlanta with 38 Hot. I was behind the scenes. Like he put it together, but I helped him as far as like the people. Black Male was on the ticket because of me. And Black Male knows this, and he give me credit, and I don't say that people don't, or whatever. That's not the point. But I'm behind the scenes more than what people think I am. I'm more in touch with things than people think I am. Tamara Bubble, she 38 Hot. That was my relationship. I built that relationship with her, and I was like, yeah, 38, you know, hitting you up and everything. And she came down or whatever. And then I was able to meet her. Like we had a relationship online like a year or so prior to even meeting in person. And now I told her while I was there, I was like, look, you know I'm gonna throw like a couple of concerts and stuff. She's like, just call me, I'm here. I was like, it's gonna be a Macon now. She's like, all right, that's fine with me. She don't care. So people might not know her, but she puts in work. You know, there's a lot of artists out there that people don't realize that have been putting in work for like years. They just haven't gotten the opportunity to be like, you know, $100 million marketing campaign.
That's true.
Because all these people that are getting you know, like the Kodak Blacks and all these different rappers, they're getting a push or whatever because, you know, that's what seems to be the trend and stuff. But these are 10, 20, $30 million campaigns that are going behind them. Just look at the thing that just came out here a couple weeks ago. Tekashi 6ix9ine, you know him?
Yeah.
Dude with the rainbow hair.
Sadly.
Yeah.
Sad to say, I know.
I might not agree with his music or whatever,
No of them.
but he recognized what the business was. Universal made $100 million off of the fake beef between him and the other blood dude. And this is off of streaming and advertising. 100 million, well, close to $100 million to keep that beef going. And now they doing is cutting checks. They'll cut them like 500,000, 200,000, whatever the case may be. It'd be pennies on the dollar to them. They don't care. Keep it going. People buy into, stuff like that. And like every time I see that stuff, I be telling people, man, this stuff fake. Like 90% of the beefs and stuff are fake. They're to sell records and stuff like that because that's the only way they figured they can sell.
Mm-hmm.
Now you do have some real beef. And you could tell when something's real or whatever because of the way it's just, like the beef between Ja Rule and 50 Cent, that's real. That has a history behind it.
Yeah.
People have gotten hurt off of that.
Yeah. Every year. It seems like an every year thing, though, with them.
Yep, and that's a beef that won't die down because it's a real beef. But like all this other stuff, whatever, people just using it to sell records and everything because that's what they need to sell their record because their marketing budgets have been slashed. I'm like, you used to put millions into singles and millions into albums, back in the day. Now they don't do it so much and they rely on just publicity stunts, and they're basically, it's the new age pimping. They are pimping these artists or whatever. The artists are not getting royalty checks, the ones that are signed to these huge deals and stuff. And they're using publicity to sell and make more money because that spreads faster than a marketing campaign, word of mouth.
That's true.
So they're making even way more money than they used to.
Man, like they say, bad news make it around the world before good news have to get up to put its pants
correct.
on the step.
That holds true.
Oh man, can you explain the different type of contracts that an artist go from when they get to the industry? Like deals that be made, I guess.
Yeah, you can get production contracts for when production deals.
Mm-hmm.
Just to produce something.
Mm-hmm.
You got 360 deals where they take a part of everything that you have coming in, but they don't invest. They don't go and get you a book deal, but if you're going to get a book deal, they want a piece of that. And they don't go and get you a movie, but if you get a movie, they want a piece of that. Yeah, no, I don't like 360 deals. Now,
So
you can't use them to your advantage or whatever, but if you're not that caliber artist or whatever, like, if you're not like a huge world artist, if you're not like Beyonce, and Beyonce's not gonna sign on 360 deal. I'm like, she's cool with where she's at anyway. I think she's more leaning towards independent now, because I think she's gonna actually shed Columbia if she hasn't already. Her and Jay-Z got their thing on lock, but they also had a lot of money dumped into them, to be able to profit off of that. You have all sorts of deals. You might have a single deal, you might have multi-album deals, you might have year deals. It just depends on what are you looking for in your situation, what you're trying to get out of it, where you see yourself going in the future. I tell people all the time, it's better to sign yourself to yourself, like Ludacris said, and just start signing your own checks. When you do a partnership deal, it's the two entities that reach terms. The artist is not locked into that. So if you're signed to DTP and say that's your label, not Ludacris, you go get a deal over at Columbia or something like that. The deal is between Columbia and DTP to put out a Ludacris project. But say if that deal fizzles out, you're not locked in to Columbia or whatever as an artist. You can go and sign another deal somewhere else. That's why I don't sign traditional artist deals. Those deals suck.
So all around 360s, the traditional artist deals, they're the bad ones just to stay away from if you can read between the lines, I guess.
Not necessarily, because everybody has a bad deal when they first get into the industry as far as major promotion. Everybody's deal sucks because you have no history of selling. It's when you wait it out and you do certain things or whatever, like the guy with the one eye, Fetty Wap, his deal was better than other people's deals. But he stayed an independent artist and he was on major platforms. That's the thing. Stay independent, but still get that major exposure and figure out how to get there. Whether you gotta, put up the bread yourself, do it. Because then it's at the end of the day, it's how can you not believe in yourself and want to put up your own bread? Like, I don't get that. Anything I want to do, I don't care. I'm gonna put in my own bread. I take that loss. I take that win too. And I know 9 times out of 10, like even if I take a loss on something, I'm gonna take a win somewhere else. So I'm gonna still keep going until I get that win, because it's the same formula that they all use. I'm gonna sign 100 artists. I'm gonna put X amount of dollars in each one of them based off of where they are in their careers. 3 of them gonna pop, and it's gonna cover the expense of all 100 of them. The other 97 gonna be sitting there.
Damn.
Yeah. So a bad situation can still be a good thing, because say if you get a sucky deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say like we're gonna get a letter grades. Say your deal is a D, right? It's not a F, but it's a D. You can still get out of that deal, and as long as you had a guaranteed release, they came with a promo campaign. They were able to touch X amount of brains that loved your music or your image or whatever, and will follow you around. They don't care if you're on another label. They're in there for you. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you could take that as leverage, put some more work around it, and go from there.
Mm.
You know, don't worry about what you didn't get. You still got your future you could, hold on to. When you jump in the NBA, all these rookie contracts for 4 years or whatever, $1 million or whatever, up to 2, depending on, or 3 or whatever, 5, whatever your draft pick is, whatever. I'm like, once you drop out of the top 5, you pretty much got a sucky deal anyway. So work your way up to that status. We can command a $100 million contract or whatever. But they got to make money on you regardless. The first 4 years anyway, or 5 years or whatever the case may be, until you're making more money than them. So regardless of life, when you go work at a job, you know that on average, your job, now your situation as far as being a firefighter is different, because that's social services. You can't really look at it, but a regular corporate American job, if I'm making $50,000 a year, damn sure the company is making $500,000, if not more, off of my position a year. When I worked in Norfolk Southern, some of the trains I would call would be $12 million trains to move freight for that one day. So, yeah, they're making like at least a multiple of not 10. 10 is like a bare minimum. They're trying to get that $100 to $1,000 multiple on your position. But you looking at it like, oh, 50 is cool. Yeah, but if you put in the same work or had the same vision, you could turn your company into that same position or whatever, where you can offer people jobs or whatever and make money off of them. So,
damn,
people don't look at it like that.
I don't see why. I just don't see why
it's
not.
easy to get caught up in comfortability.
Like you said earlier, people are complacent, and that's a lot.
But
I see
you
that
can't
a lot,
have everybody as entrepreneurs either and bosses.
That's true.
'Cause somebody got to do the work,
That's true.
and everybody's not built for it. But the ones I always encourage, the people who are, I'm sorry, I just got an order. That's what happens when you got multiple businesses. Money just comes in. And you built that structure too for the money to come in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I always tell the people, if this is what you really want to do in your heart of hearts, I will show you the way. But let it be something that you really want to do. If you don't see yourself waking up every day wanting to do this, don't do it. It's not for you.
Just the drive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so last month I saw you post on Facebook that you and your wife celebrated your 15-year anniversary.
Yeah.
All right, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Do you remember the first time you met her?
Yeah, I really do. I really do.
Why you said that back there, man? This is a question I had already premeditated.
My wife, I love my wife, and she makes me a better person. She really do, because I would be a cold, heartless person if it wasn't for her. I met my wife at Fort Valley State University.
Mm-hmm.
We call it the Fort Valley State University. And the ones who go there understand why we call it the. But yeah, we met actually online through, at that time, it was College Club. It was like a little social site or whatever, where you could also do like chat rooms and stuff like that. And don't know how we linked up or whatever, but we ended up talking or whatever. So then we finally met in person. And when I first met her, I actually remember what she wore that first day I met her. She had on a red shirt and black pants, and it was like one of those red shirts that only had one sleeve or whatever, and the other arm out. Yeah, and I was just sitting there, just being out like a daisical and everything. She was like, "You gonna get up and come on?" And she was snappy or whatever. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I like this. And that's how our relationship was, just snappy back and forth. We still do that to today. Like, we say stuff to each other,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like really no filter. And people don't realize it, but that's just how we talk to one another. But we'll be out in public, whatever, and we'll just snap on each other, and people like, "Oh my goodness, are y'all okay?" We look at them like they crazy. Yeah, we okay. I'm like, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying?
Mind your business.
Exactly. But yeah.
Care to talk about any business ventures she's overseas? Your wife overseas? Like, as far as what she...
Yeah, she obviously, she is like I did in the interview, she is the CEO of the cook shop. I didn't want to be CEO. I didn't care. It was her vision. And we started the company, and it was her her idea. I just helped execute. Because our oldest daughter, for everybody that knows us, has tuberous sclerosis, which is a seizure disorder. And that's what it was. We were tired of going through these, like, you have seizures after seizure after seizure. And, like, when you look at your child having seizures and knowing you cannot do anything for your child, like, one, that makes you just feel like powerless or whatever. And I don't like that feeling. And plus, I don't know. I'm like, hell, any seizure she had could be her last. So I don't want that for my child. I'm like, my child, she's bright and everything, and I want her to have the best quality life possible. I don't want her to have to, suffer through all this or whatever. So it was just a matter of research, trying different things, knowing, how hemp is and what it can do for the body and help with seizures and all that stuff. And that's what was born of the cook shop. But she's been with me on every project, every thing I've done. She's She's one of the owners in the Southern Center. She's development director, as far as her official job title. She's actually the reason why we have a lot of the contracts that we have and how the business is able to be so lucrative. It's like we're a combo pack or whatever. She does one thing and I do the other thing to help commingle that or whatever, or it attaches to it and makes a bigger impact. She also is an owner in Banked Out Music Group, even though she's not an active participant in it, which is fine, I'm like, but yeah, anything technically by law, anything I do, regardless if she's on paper or not, she benefits from it regardless. But on paper, those are the three different things that we are attached to professionally. And it is actually fun. I've been working with my wife for like going on 7-8 years now as far as partners. And we get each other, even though we have our disagreements or whatever as far as how we go. She knows that regardless of the decision being made, if it's mine or hers, we both got each other back. And that's what it is.
That's true. Nothing like a lifelong partner.
Yeah. Somebody who gets you.
That's for real. Now, I guess I really don't have anything else to ask you, but about any other events. I know you're finna wrap. This will be like your last interview for this year. But
yeah, because you're gonna be interviewing the blanket drive, so
I know. Any other events besides the blanket drive? You sent me. You text me about a black tie event. My phone's way over there.
Yeah, we're not black tie, but it's a red dress, red tie party. That's the January 26th. The Southern Center's doing. It's an event that we do. We started doing it. Was it 2 years ago? As far as the party, because February is Teen Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and a lot of people don't know that. There's a lot of teens who experience domestic violence. I have close experience with that actual issue growing up as a child or whatever, and had to suffer the consequences of when domestic violence goes too far. So, it's something that's dear to my heart. But the Red Dress Red Tie party came about because my mother-in-law, and she was always like, something. A lot of women have red dresses, whatever, didn't really have anything to do with them. So we just put it together with the 10,000 Kisses campaign that we do. The 10,000 Kisses campaign is where we get Valentine cards donated to us, and we distribute them to middle schools all over the Middle Georgia area, and trying to get 10,000 of them each year, and show especially middle school girls what healthy, appropriate relationships are supposed to look like and supposed to feel like. Because like I said, they get caught up in that it's okay to get hit on and all that stuff, and verbal abuse and emotional abuse and just social economic abuse and all these different ways you can abuse people, and I was like, that's not the case. We shouldn't teach our young men how to know. We shouldn't teach our young ladies it's acceptable for that. So that's what the old Red Dress Red Tie Party is an event to help bring awareness for that, but also to enjoy each other's time, company, and to share a collective mission for the community, and therefore we use it as a springboard for the 10,000 Kisses campaign. So it's gonna be here. We got DJ Soul who's gonna be DJing this year, so shout out to DJ Soul. We got a couple of different artists I am looking at to perform this year, and then of course gonna be doing interviews too. So we're gonna get that going, and just expanding and just more things, and more things I gotta work on with Sims with some stuff. Of course, more cook shop, things where we're gonna be vendors at various spots, and then I got different collaboration things I want to work on with people too. So yeah, always moving and working. That's the name of the game.
Oh man. Huh?
And then got to find another co-host.
Hopefully me.
Trying to get Mr. Enigma going.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say now. I told you before when I came in, I was so nervous. I'm still nervous.
No, there's no point. I'm like, it's just a conversation. That's all it is. But
yeah, I
definitely, I want to say, thank you for, just stepping up to the plate and, becoming the interviewer, as opposed, being an interviewer or being behind the cameras. People think that, running a podcast and interview and like doing all this stuff is so easy, when it's really not. They don't get to see all the stuff that goes in behind it. They don't get to see that. Like I have had cancellations this year, and not titled this episode like it is a yearly rundown or whatever, because I've had some highs and some lows or whatever. Overall, I'm still enjoying the ride. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have a passion for it, and I like doing this or whatever. Actually, in February, we'll start my official third year of podcasting.
Wow.
Yeah, so I started on my daughter's birthday, February 9th, and that was this year, 2018. Yeah, so 2016, 16, 17, 18, 18 going into 19, so we'll start the third year. So I wanted, something to do, because it figured it was a natural fit for me, because I talk to people anyway. I already had music connections and stuff like that, so it was easy to bring guests upon. But then, we hooked up, and then actually networking with other people. The reason I met Sims is through Slum. He interviewed. We was doing Go My Mondays is Billy Slum's platform, and shout out to Slum. But we were doing it here at the office, and he needed a spot. He asked me, like, man, he just going to different people, when people come into your house or whatever, it's kind of hard to set professional boundaries, when you do something like that. But I understand, because we all got limited resources. You know what I'm saying? So when we start now with an idea or whatever, it's not going to be the same as we progress or whatever. So, I definitely want people to know that what you start out with is not going to be what you end with. You will build. But it's like, man, I want to, can I use the spot? So I was like, yeah, we got certain days that you need to use whatever, so we should do it like on Mondays or whatever, because we ain't had no clients or nothing like that. So we come down here on Mondays, and I'll be behind the camera, just watching or whatever, and he bring the guests, He was responsible for booking his guests. So he had booked the Sims and his cousin, Shamonte, one time for the Unpopular series, and he was talking about that. So then after that, me and Sims started talking or whatever. And then it grew into, he has a passion for what he does. I have a passion for what I do. Why not put it together? He has equipment. I got some stuff that we needed and everything. I already had, mics and stuff like that. So I was like, man, we put this stuff together. And that's what we did. Yeah.
Just basic networking.
Exactly. And that's how you build stuff. And me and Sims, we know each other, whatever. We got a good working relationship. We do it like, and then Sims, he does outside stuff too. And I don't try to pigeonhole him. He knows I'm not gonna do that. At the same time, he doesn't pigeonhole me either. So we got a collective for Icon Media, what we're gonna do for it, Urban Media Network, all that stuff. And then we have our own individual stuff. And I told him up front, I was like, dude, I don't want you to, feel like, you got to just be solely to me or whatever, because you still got to make your money on the side too until we get it to the point to where people don't recognize the value of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been able to, like I said, produce some other shows, and people pay us for that. We've done commercials, and he's done runway ads and all sorts of things. So, like, we're always working or whatever, but it was due to networking that created, like, all these other situations. So I definitely want people to know that, you got to get out there and network, But then when you bring other people in, too, you got to listen to their vision and stuff, too, because it can't just be yours. The minute that you bring somebody else to the table, it's y'all's, regardless of who owns what and equity and all that stuff. Even if it's something like, say, if you started a company and it's 100% yours, right, on paper and equity, but once you bring people into the company, you got to give them some type of, not saying you got to give them equity, but you got to allow them to take ownership of their ideas. So you can't be like, oh, no, that's not going to work. We're not going to do that. You can't try it. You never know what's going to work. It might not give you the results that you want, but you might see the potential for something later. So I'm always of that idea. I don't want everything on me because I know how stuff is. Like right now, I got to do a podcast with my wife. Like, she not only started, and I believe we've inspired her, she started her own roundtable discussion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where she comes and she does Facebook Live with it. It's a Brood Bitches page on Facebook. And I love the name too, because also it goes into the tea that she has available. So anybody out there, Brood Bitches, get your tea. It's definitely some dope tea. But then also we're gonna start a podcast with me and her as co-hosts, right? I didn't want to be her co-host. I didn't push the issue for me to be her co-host. I was just going to be behind the scenes producing.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I want you in front of the camera. I was like, what? But because I've been doing this or whatever, and then she really saw the potential for what we can do, because I interviewed her when we did the Tipsy Art event. And, I want her to get used to being her own woman and, pushing what she wants out there. Like now she got a, excuse me, she has an event in January, suicide prevention panel that she's doing. I don't know if that's the exact name for it. I will share it again on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But she's rented out a place downtown already where she's going to have a panel. And she's going to feed people light hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that. But she's putting together a panel, and people have already reached out to me. Saying they want to be on the panel, and we're going to talk about, like, suicides in our community. And, I don't just always talk about entertainment or the fun or the glitz and glamour stuff. I do talk about real content type things and push those issues as well that we should talk about in our community that does not get the light of day with other platforms. So yeah, we're going to be doing stuff like that, and ain't no telling where the podcast will go with me and her. Like, it could be a situation where we end up getting a deal with somebody. I don't know. You never know.
There's a lot that don't be talked about in this community that needs to be talked about.
Exactly, and that's why I like your spirit, and I know that you're going to go into those areas as well.
Yeah.
And like when we did football and stuff like that, right? I didn't, like, you was telling me about your stuff. I didn't say nothing about, oh, he's going to be competition, or I don't like what he's doing, or anything like that. I embraced you. Right?
Yes. You even gave me advice.
Exactly.
You told me what to do. You said keep me posted, and I kept you posted.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was a process for me at first. Now this is the real. When I first seen you at Breon's Rogers event, the Willing Women Empowerment, my girlfriend was like, go talk to him. I said, I don't know. He looks mean right now. he just looks angry. Like, I don't want. No. Then she was my then girlfriend, now fiance. She was like, go talk to him. Just go talk to him. I just seen you just. I was like, nah, I don't know. Something about him made him mad. I don't know, man. I talked to him, but then it was like when we were packing up, I said, hey, can I talk to you real quick? I talked to you, and I kept in contact, and just so happened your son had played on played for the football league team, and we talked then, and you kept talking. I just kept in contact with you, like you said, and I started and I showed you. You critiqued me, even though it was hard to get critiqued on. Like, man, and darn, man, I don't think I should be doing it because I felt like that at times. And you said you gotta keep going. My fiance said keep going. I kept going. But for the longest, it took me to come up with a concept until I went to the women's empowerment. I said, these are the people I want to interview, the independent owners, because we don't get a lot of, there's not enough, how can I say, publicity for what we do or what we have. So I said, well, at least let me have a platform, even not trying to say I piggybacked. I just didn't, because you went first. I didn't know that you were there. I came after you. I had to go run an errand and come back. And my girlfriend said, he does something. And after hearing so many stories there, I told my then girlfriend, I said, I know what I want to do. I want to give these people a platform to sell, a market, or just express their feelings through what they love.
And that's what I love doing with the Bank That Radio Show, Bank That News Network, Make It Build FM, whatever it is. Everybody know that I'm pretty much one of the easiest people to get along with. Now, you ain't going to rope-a-dope me or whatever, because a lot of people would do that. But at the same time, that was to give people a voice. And like I've had people come from Atlanta, Decatur, Augusta, Columbus, all over the state, excuse me, to come interview. When I went to Nashville or whatever, I did an interview with a model up there. I just recorded it on my phone or whatever, and my laptop was acting up at the time, so when I logged into the server with Blog Talk, it didn't capture it. But, experience has taught me I always have a backup for your production and stuff like that, because as they say in showbiz, the show must go on, or whatever, regardless of what happens. So it just makes you a better prepared and more diverse person or whatever. So I pulled out my phone, went to my notes, my voice notes or whatever, recorded an interview, and then went back, got pictures, uploaded it to YouTube. I actually got a couple more of them that I got to upload. I haven't even had the opportunity to upload them because as soon as I got back, I was so busy with everything else. But yeah, and like when I go to California in May, I'm gonna do the same thing. Hell, I might do the same thing when we go to New Hampshire in May as well, and then I'll probably go back to Nashville in August again, and then any other events in between. So, I just want people to have a platform just like you. I want people to have a voice and to be able to get information out. But I do want people to respect what we do.
Yes.
I'm like, don't be trying to always want to come on, and I'm like, look, you got to pay for advertising. I don't care if you got to pay for interviews or if you got to pay for people to promote your stuff or whatever the case may be. People's time is valuable. People's skill set is valuable. I'm like, as you see all the equipment in here, it's valuable.
Oh, yeah. So,
yeah, there's a cost associated with all this. So it's like, I have people who just think it's just whatever. No, 2019, all interviews are chargeable. Like I charged some people this year or whatever, and I have others that I do favor for, and it's my platform. I can choose to charge whoever the hell I want to, because I built it. But yeah, 2019, people, you're gonna have to pay for this, and especially if you want media coverage at your events, you're gonna have to pay for this. You're gonna have to pay for us to come out, set up, interview people, and then make you. I'm like, just go and look at all the videos. I'm like, the proof is in the pudding. They get numbers. All my videos get numbers. And then I also boost certain ones, whenever I feel like getting it even out there further. But then, like today, I got videos I posted back in March that are still getting views. Damn. Yeah. So my stuff doesn't just stop. People love it. And I got people on Instagram who love stuff too. So I'm trying to bring other people into this and show them, you could be a part of this too and have your own. Like even with you like say you come on board or make that radio show, right? You're still gonna have your own separate thing you can do too. You're just gonna be and then you can co-mingle them. I don't care. More people who talk about something, the bigger it gets. I'm not gonna pigeonhole people. I'm actually gonna encourage you. Go out there and see what you can solicit or whatever. And what events you can get put on as media and stuff like that, and charge people. The media prices and stuff like that. That goes along with doing something. So people can understand. One, this is valuable time for people. I'm like, it's more than just myself. People don't see, but Sam's put in a lot of hours. Sims puts in a lot of work, and I really appreciate Sims for being dedicated, because he could have given up at any given time, any moment, any time, but he sees the bigger picture. We know we're in this for the long run. This isn't just something we just pop up with whatever here one day and gone the next. So yeah, I want people to know they got a platform here, but also you have to break that bread off. You serious about your business? You wouldn't dare go to any other news station. You go to 41 and be like, hey, y'all gonna advertise for me?
They wouldn't do it without something.
Exactly. Pay them their money. Pay them what they worth. Show people that they're worth something. Then support your black businesses. We're all worth something, even to each other. And then people don't never know what I got up my sleeve. I mentioned some stuff, but I ain't mentioned everything that I'm doing. I got some other stuff in the works.
See, that's whole nother interview I got to do.
Exactly.
That's a whole other interview I got to do. I thought you were going to just say everything now. Like, nope.
No, you never give them everything. Never give them everything.
We look for the second interview. It's on the way. God darn it. God darn it.
But yeah, hey, you're the host right now, so it's your closing. However you want to end the show.
I don't know. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to the Banked Out Radio Show. Mr. Enigma. This is Mr. Andres Cook. You can find Mr. Enigma on Facebook, YouTube, Mr. Enigma. You can Gmail me at Mr. Enigma, MOE, at Gmail. I also have a podcast to run on different platforms: Anchor, Breaker, Apple, Castbox, Google, Overcast, Podcast, Podbean, Radio Republic, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. I am overwhelmed right now because I'm still nervous, even though I'm closing it. But I've learned so much though, doing what I just doing, taking your advice, taking my fiance's advice. Just I'm learning about myself actually doing this more than just learning about what it takes to do it. I'm learning about myself.
Yeah,
it's something I never thought I never thought I'd be doing, actually, and to actually have people around me to support me, having them just say, hey, you can do this and you can do that, or you may need to not do this, but do this, is really helping me, in many ways, more than one. Just it's a good thing. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Well, that's it. That's all I got, y'all.
All right, like you said, y'all go follow Mr. Enigma on everything: Facebook, Instagram, all that, YouTube. Make That Radio Show, Instagram, @radio_show. Make That Radio Show on Facebook. I appreciate all the supporters this year. I look forward to a whole lot more in 2019, and more things to come. Email me, bankthatradioshow@gmail.com, or y'all can call me 478-310-1709. All right.
Ha.